Central government have the power to amend the previous agriculture setup and bring this?
Hi Rishi. First of all, thank you for your organization for hosting me here for this wonderful event. It indeed is one of the most pressing issues in the country today, and almost I think every newspaper and most of the media channels are covering it. It's also trending on social media. And you have started with a very pertinent question as to whether the central government can impinge on the boundaries of the state government. But before we go there, let's understand the basic modalities and the boundaries that the Constitution has set up. So when we think of Farm Act, and there are two new Farm Acts which have been now promulgated and have made into an act, and one is an amendment to the Essential Commodities Act. So these three acts put together are being called Farm Act. Let me also quickly tell you the full form of these acts. The first act is the Assurance and Farm Services Act of 2020, and the other is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act of 2020. The third, as I said, is just a minor amendment to the Essential Commodities Act. Now, the Farm Acts, in essence, is permitting the trading of agricultural produce in a particular trade area, which is defined as a region or as a place of production, collection, and aggregation, excluding market yards notified by the states under their respective Agricultural Produce Market Committees Act, which is popularly called the APMC Act. APMC is vernacular, sometimes you also call it mandi. Mandi bazar jo lagta hai. So earlier, the APMC Act, the transaction of sale could normally take place only within the market area, and more specifically within the demarcated market. And Farm Acts, in essence, is permitting the trading of agricultural produce in a particular trade area, which is defined as a region or as a place of production, collection, and aggregation, excluding market yards notified by the states under their respective Agricultural Produce Market Committees Act, which is popularly called the APMC Act. APMC is vernacular, sometimes you also call it mandi. Mandi bazar jo lagta hai. So earlier, the APMC Act, the transaction of sale could normally take place only within the market area, and more specifically within the demarcated market and some market within the state, a particular state. And the state therefore levied a market cess on such transaction for sale, which formed the major source of revenue for them. Now, the current Farm Act seek to lift these geographical and economical compulsion under various sections of these two farm Acts and the sections which are put therein. The state object of APMC Act was the regulation of sale and purchase of agricultural produce and establishment, superintendence and control of the market. However, contrary to the popular perception, the APMC Act have been framed under Entry 14 List 2 of the Constitution dealing with agriculture. And the Supreme Court in Balsan Sugar Company Limited has traced the source of state legislative power behind APMC Act to be entries 26, 27 and 28 of List 2 of the 7th schedule. Now, entry 28 of the state list relating to the markets and fairs enables the states to determine the location of the market and to provide for its management and maintenance simpliciter. Entry 28, however, by itself does not confer the power to the states to regulate sale and purchase of agricultural produce. The power to regulate and purchase is relatable to entries 26 and 27 of the state list, as I just mentioned before. Also, behind these legislative entries to deal with trade and commerce is state entry 26 for supply, production and distribution of goods is entry 27. And currently the center has formed it under the provision of entry 33 of the list 3, which deals with trade and commerce and also the production, supply and distribution of foodstuff and essential commodities. And that is how they have bypassed the list 2 category in the given scenario. And the Farm Act, the two pertinent Farm Acts which are regulating the trading and also the growth of the farm produce, they are finding their genesis in entry 33 entry 33 of list 3. And this legislation therefore do not per se deal with the agriculture or cultivation of farm produce, but they regulate trade and commerce of foodstuff and other essential commodities in a fair and transparent manner, so that to enable the farmers to draw maximum remuneration for their products. And we must also note that the wider meaning ascribed to foodstuff is already covered under these acts, and a good reading. And I must encourage your readers, please read these acts. They are only 8 pages acts. So the two acts combined together are 16 pages in the Official Gazette of India. The 16 pages act, you can easily go through it. I think it should not take you more than 40-45 minutes to read these 16 pages and understand the law yourself. And just to add on to what I was already saying, is that the power to legislate is also traceable for the central government under Article 246, subsection 2 of the Constitution, and this has to be read along with Section 33 of List 3, which therefore gives the power to the central government to make these two laws. However, just to bring to the audience notice, obviously these farm laws have already been put to test before the floor in Supreme Court, and it's a matter of wait and watch, what the Honorable Supreme Court is now going to decide. And once they interpret various legislative mandate of the Constitution and various entries, it will be, I think, interesting to see how this pans out, and whether Supreme Court decides eventually that this should be in state domain, or should this be in central government's domain. But as I said, it talks about intra-trade amongst different states also. So it talks about inter-trade, interstate trade, interstate, all those things. But yeah, to answer your questions, as preliminary saying, I would not say that the central government has bypassed the state laws or state legislature, or has tiptoed over the constitutional mandate which has been given. I think a careful scrutiny of the legislation would make you realize. I'm not saying the legislation is perfect, but all I'm saying is the way it has been drawn, to my mind, it does not impinge any constitutional mandate as of now.